So, Bear, for people who are unfamiliar with what you do, kind of give a little elevator pitch of what you and your company is all about.
For sure. Yeah. So, I guess in a nutshell, I try to elevate what a skateboard is. So, we carve out like usually pop culture inspired designs into the top of the board. So, the artwork's on the top of the skateboard, which isn't normal, but also that acts as the grip. We have a patent on that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I grew up a comic book and movie nerd, and so now I get to integrate that into my other passions, which was skating and surfing and woodworking. And I like to think we make the most innovative skateboards on the planet now.
Now, like you are like a really good craftsman. Like, are you self-taught? Did you go to school for that?
So as far as like, I'd say it's a mix. I took a bunch of like random knowledge and kind of put it together for this, but I grew up building custom houses with my dad. So like I had a basic understanding of like power tools and stuff like that. And then I actually got a graphic design degree from Clemson. Uh, and yeah, when I graduated in 2011 from college, there was like no jobs out there, especially for artists. So I kind of bounced around to a bunch of different odd jobs, and they all kind of ended up culminating into this knowledge of like CNCs and airbrushing and my old woodwork background and my old graphic design background. And yeah, it all kind of like meshed together into these custom skateboards.
Now, how did your talk about as your company grew? Like, talk about that process because you're a guy living in probably like a little apartment doing odd custom jobs for people here and there, and then all of a sudden you're like so in demand you have to hire more people and you have your own company now and you incorporate. Like, talk about that process. It had to
For
be a
sure,
really cool
man.
process for you.
Not even an apartment, dude. I had like a room attached to a garage.
Of a
But
bowling alley, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, even before that, it was 6 years of like I started. This is my third version of this company. I started one, it failed, and I, kind of, pulled up my bootstraps or whatever and restarted, tried to save up again. But yeah, when I first started this iteration of it, I found this at this corner of a barn where I got my first CNC machine to carve out the boards, and I had a closet that was my paint booth, and then there was a room attached to it with just like a bathroom. That's where I like lived. I didn't have a kitchen, nothing. So, but I don't know. I loved it though. Like I'd have an idea at like 2 in the morning, and I could go out there and make it. But yeah, for 2 years, it was just me in that small area of the barn, and I started getting custom jobs from celebrities and doing small batch stuff for like movie premieres and stuff. And that was really what kicked off, being in this pop culture realm. Uh, but yeah, and then at the end of 2019, got my first real big kick, I guess, with the Pokemon collab and that selling out. And yeah, through the pandemic, we grew. We now have about 40 employees, and yeah, kicking ass.
Yeah, that I guess that we've talked earlier about the Pokemon thing. Those things, I mean, it crashed the site. They were selling so quickly.
For
Can you talk
sure.
about how that partnership came about?
Yeah. So, I've always been, like I said, a big pop culture fan, all that, but like I'm a 90s kid. So it's like, I was around when like the first huge Pokemon craze hit the US. So, that's been my weekends, going to Toys R Us and opening cards and all that good stuff. But so I've always been a diehard nostalgic Pokemon fan. And I found out that they were going to be at this licensing expo in Vegas. And so I legit used like 5 grand of like the last bit of my bank account to make a custom Pikachu board for them, book a plane, book hotel to go to Vegas. And yeah, went to their booth at Vegas and waited for them to take a meeting with me and gave them this board. And they seemed pretty stoked on it. And then I didn't hear anything for a little while. And about 6 weeks later, they put in that first order for that first collection. And that sold out in about 2 days. So they put in a slightly bigger order for a second collection, and that one sold out in about 66 minutes. And that was like the first bit of craze.
That's crazy. So you came to them, there was no guarantee. You hadn't even spoken to them prior, just like, hey, do you
No.
want to do something? Here's an example of what I can do. Kind of like a sales pitch meeting on the fly. And they just said, this is awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was like the last bit of my money too. So it was a little bit of like a Hail Mary.
That's awesome. But that's awesome, man, because that like skyrocketed you to more people seeing what you do. And you did a Marvel collab recently as well. Is that,
Yeah.
would you say that's attributed to the Pokemon collab as you keep doing
Oh
more of
yeah.
these?
Yeah, 100%, man. It's like, entrepreneur, hustler will tell you, like, they're always like, we're always knocking on doors and sending DMs, all that good shit, you know? So it's like, you know, I had laid the groundwork, I guess, but like, you know, I've been hitting these people up and trying to make, like, pad my portfolio with the pop culture stuff I was making. But yeah, the success of the Pokemon collab and the growth that came from that helped open doors as far as getting conversations with the right people. And so yeah, now we're doing, you know, we do the Marvel. We just actually had Spider-Man collection drop a few days ago, which I think is like some of my best work yet. I'm super stoked on it. Did a Venom board with them that sold out. But yeah, and then now we're, you know, we'll do stuff with like legendary films, so like Godzilla versus Kong. Got some really cool stuff coming up next year that I don't think I can talk about yet with some other companies. So yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I am personally a huge fan of, I get to collaborate with now, which is, you know, super exciting.
No, it's interesting. Are you on your way? Like, I don't want to speak for you, but are you on your way to like starting to make a more consumer market, like doing more things? Because that other stuff that you mentioned with Legendary Marvel, that's great, but it's usually like, you know, 1-2 pieces a year. They're custom to show off like at an event or like, or just something just to get buzz going, you know, like a showcase on it. Like, is your main goal to kind of get to the consumer level and like mass produce these boards? Like, I'm talking tens of thousands.
Yeah, not really. I mean, right now, you know, we make a decent amount of boards right now, because like all of our collaborations or all of our drops are like 250 per design and like 5 designs. So you know, we make probably a couple thousand boards a month. But honestly, that's where I plan on staying. I think one of the cool things, like, this is honestly already past where I expected it to go. And it was a really quick realization that I'm not like really inspired by money. I'm more like inspired by making cool and innovative stuff and working with these people that I've like wanted to work with my entire life. So I think I always want to like have that element of like feeling special and making something feel desirable and collectible with my products. So having something mass produced doesn't really feel like it fits in with my like ethos. So I think I'll always keep them small and always keep them collectible. We've got good jobs for all the people who work here. I'm comfortable and I get to make a lot of stuff that I enjoy. So I think just like kind of staying in that lane and just trying to innovate what we're doing and keep good quality is like my main goals.
And it's tough to make. You said 1,000 boards a month. I mean, this is not manufacturer assembly line stuff. This is hand carved, hand sand stuff. I mean, I think the closest you get to assembly line is your laser etch stuff. And that's still like someone has to manually place that in and load the thing and has to do it in.
Yeah, that's an art too, man. Like, it's easy to mess that up. And it's like, you know, you get to learn, you have to like read the wood itself and see like where you need to touch off and like where you can compromise on it, even just for like the robot parts, you know? But yeah, we're like, my employees are artists, you know? It's like we have airbrushers, even the people filing the boards to make sure that the grip is clean, you know, to make it actually smooth and not gouge sections and all that. Like it's all an art form and they've all gotten really proficient at it. So yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into each one, but we've gotten it pretty well down to a science. And I think that's one of the things that comes from growth is like the first year was complete chaos.
Right.
But now like, cause yeah, I was like trying to teach, like no one really does what we do. And so it was teaching everyone from scratch for the most part. But now everyone who works here is like 1 year, 2 year veterans that know what they're doing. So it's like, things are smooth, like people are experts at what they do now. And we got like a really awesome, solid team, which is the only way that we can do, you know, the quantities that we're doing while it's still being limited edition and handcrafted and high quality.
Now, I know it's going to be hard, but kind of ballpark me a number of hours it takes, like your Spider-Man boards. Like, what does it take from a design and concept to physically handing someone a board to buy? Like, how many hours do you say is put into that time?
So once you get to the design being done and building the board, that's pretty easily quantifiable. It's like 3 to 4 hours per board. But yeah, like I spent 6 months designing the Spider-Man series. Like you know, it's like it's a first of all like an honor to make that stuff, but there's also a lot of responsibility that comes with it. Like Spider-Man has such a huge fan base and such a big story, and like yeah, like mythos around it, you know, like it's yeah, Spider-Man's like the epitome, you know. So trying to make something that shows respect to like the character and the history of the character, and still make it look good is really difficult. Like I legit have 40 different prototypes of it in my closet right here that didn't make the cut, and then deciding when it's like done and that I'm comfortable making 250 of those and seeing 250 come through and hoping I still like it at the end of the production run, you know?
It is tough too, especially when you're working with big IPs. I know I'm not saying you had this problem. I know like Marvel could be like, well, Spider-Man's too red. Here's the number of red we use for Spider-Man. Use this red, and then we use the red. Then sometimes clients will be like, well, that's too red. I go, this is the red you gave me.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there's there is red tape and all that stuff that comes with it, but I think one of the beauties of like what we were talking about earlier, where it's like I am a handcrafted company and make smaller batch products. I think they kind of allow me to have more creative freedom because I'm not making 10,000 of these things to go into Walmart. I'm making 250 to go on someone's wall as like a handcrafted piece. Like they let me blend a lot more, I think, my style with their style than they would a typical like mass production company, which is really cool.
It's so interesting to me that this is such a niche market. Like I wouldn't say it's niche because you're doing very well, but like how was this not filled before you came into the scene?
So I think a lot of it was like just really good timing as well. But like, skateboarding is always blended with, pop culture, current culture anyway, but like it's always been the same kind of canvas. And I feel like that's the one part I will attribute to myself. I came up with a new canvas for this thing and had my own style that I brought to it, which I think has attributed to like, a lot of the growth. But also we happened to hit at this time where like in 2017, skateboarding had a big resurgence and Pokemon had a big resurgence and comic book movies were at like the peak of like movie goers, viewership, all that good stuff. Like it was just like this perfect culmination of like my new style, skateboarding having a resurgence, and these like pop culture stuff becoming way more mainstream that like it all kind of like made a perfect storm.
Now your boards are they're so beautiful. Like you said, the hand craftsmanship is totally there. The paint and all the sanding looks great. But the question I have is can you skateboard on them? Or question is, wait, not can, should you skateboard on them?
Yeah, I'll answer those individually. You definitely can. So like, I am like an extreme perfectionist. So like I actually started my own truck and wheel company. Like all the components that go into it, we make as well. So yeah, I feel pretty confident saying my boards are also some of the smoothest boards on the market. Like they are really good rides and they're very durable. Should you ride it? Like, I'm always flattered when someone rides it. I like was almost like, I don't know, weird about people hanging it on the wall when I first started because I thought it was like it being misused. But now, like, I don't know, I love that people want to have it as decoration or view it as an art form. And then it's just kind of a bonus if someone decides to like ruin their board. It's almost a compliment, Like they loved it so much they had to utilize it. Exactly. Yeah. And so for those, the 20% of people who ride these things, I make sure that it is the best ride they can get. But I'm definitely happy about the 80% who hang them on their wall.
Now, like as you continue to grow your business and evolve, are you going to take on more IP license stuff? Do you like the IP license stuff? Do you like more of the original stuff you get to do? Like, what is your like dream boat of how you like to work in your environment?
Yeah, I think like a 50-50 split is where I'm heading towards. Right now, we're almost exclusively collabs because like, that was my strategy to grow my name. And I'm really passionate about these projects and wanted to like find some way to connect me to the end user. And it was through something that we were both passionate about, which is pop culture. But, moving forward, I'm trying to do more collaborations with other artists, which would be really exciting. And then also just have lines of stuff that's just Bear Walker stuff. But also there's like a big world coming up outside of skateboarding. Like we just started making really high-end guitars. Yeah, man. So I'm trying to make the best guitar out there now. We're gonna make like 99 of those a year, so they stay super exclusive, but just super high quality. We're getting into apparel, which is exciting. But like, again, at the end of the day, I think the perk of growing this company and it being something true to me and what I want is I have this like playground now where I can build the things I'm passionate about. So it's like one of our product lines is going to be custom ping pong paddles because I love ping pong and no one's going to tell me not to make it. You know what I mean?
Is it when you make the collabs now, like are you at the point where people come to you now? Like you don't have to do anything. People are banging down your door and having to go through like your business agent or your advisor to say, hey, they want to collab, they want to collab, they want to collab.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been able to be like selective with who we work with now, which again is another like surreal thing after spending so many years knocking on
Yeah,
doors and
turning
getting
down
jobs.
work is weird. It really is
Yeah,
weird.
it feels sacrilegious. Yeah, it's like yeah, it goes against my core values. But like there had to like I legit have again I have an awesome team around me, and it got to a point where like they're like stop saying yes to stuff. We can't make any more stuff right now. Like stop it. It's like okay, so it's like for this year we can do these 4 collabs, and I'll just have to tell them that if they want to still do it in 2024, we'll do it then, and just being okay with that, you know.
And sometimes saying no makes them want you more, right? Is that true in your case?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like it's ironic when I needed business, I had none, and when I have more than I want, yeah, yeah, you get what I'm saying.
I do. I
But
mean,
yeah,
I've freelanced for 10 years, so I totally get what you're saying. You're always looking for work. When you get too busy and you have to turn down work, you're like, this is very weird. I don't want to turn down
oh
work.
yeah, yeah, it's either floods or droughts, man. Yeah, but that's half the fun, I guess.
So Bear, like, talk about where can people go to look at your new boards, yeah, and you get more information. Do you have a Discord, a website, all that good stuff?
Oh, for sure. I'd say like my best portfolio is Instagram. That's Bear Walker Official. But yeah, like I said, we just dropped that new Spider-Man collab, which is on my site, bearwalker.com. We're also doing our first pop-up this upcoming weekend, which I'm really excited about. It's our Spider-Man pop-up. And then I'm not sure when this airs, but today, Monday, we dropped collab with Pokemon at PokemonCenter.com. So yeah, we have 2 awesome collections out right now. The Spider-Man on my site, Pokemon at Pokemon Center's site, and then yeah, like I said, some fun stuff coming up in the future as well.
You said there's a Pokemon collab today. I'm sorry, I've been buried. I must have missed that. Did it sell out already? Is it
Uh
gone? Gone.
no, but it's been going like I don't know, it's been going really well. I'm super stoked on it. But also I think it's like the most like beautiful collection I've made for them. So I'm really like proud of it. But yeah, it's on there right now. It does look like it's like flying through, which is exciting. But yeah, I did Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. So like,
Oh, geez. Yeah, the 3 main ones. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. Well here, so I always keep the ones I like a lot of wood grain. So I keep the really grainy ones for myself. Yeah. So here's the Venusaur.
Oh, that looks. Oh, I see the wood. I see what you mean by wood grain. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it turned out really dope. I think this one is the one that I keep getting tagged in that people have purchased already, which I think makes sense. It's the Charizard one, but yeah.
Oh
So
God. Yeah. Charizard is a hot commodity in all Pokemon IP, regardless of
absolutely,
what it is. Yeah.
definitely, yeah. And then yeah, then Blastoise, like I said.
Now, when you make those stuff like the Spider-Man and the Pokemon ones, do you draw those yourself, or are you given assets to use to make the boards from the companies?
It really depends on the collaboration. So Pokemon, they provide me with the assets of the actual character, and then I create everything around it. Um, I am definitely good at graphic design, but when it comes to like portraits, so like stuff like a portrait of Spider-Man, we worked with this awesome artist named Rupert Gruber. He was out of Germany. We became pretty good friends over the last couple of years, and now he works really consistently with us doing our portrait stuff. So yeah, it's either provided by the company. I do like the mass like layouts and creative direction, and then Rupert helps us with like the physical drawings.
Now, I guess my last question would be like, are you so busy now? You're spending a lot of time managing your company and working with these partnerships and having meetings. Like, are you able to still do hands-on board work, or are you just managing your company out 24 hours a day?
Dude, my back is killing me, man. Yeah, like I went from like working like 20 hours a day, manual labor, to like sitting behind a desk for a year, and it is yeah, paid my back yeah, a terrible hand. But anyway, I do all the prototypes and customs and all that. So I'd still say I spend about 10 hours a week, making actual boards. But yeah, a lot of paperwork now, a lot of shaking hands and negotiations. But it's the evolution of the company, and yeah, I still get out there and make some fun stuff every once in a while.
Are you worried that will like kind of teeter over where like you're full-time managing and have no time to do anything anymore and have to hire more people to make the boards as you continue to like do your manage and run your business?
I actually think I'm like getting out of that a bit. The first couple years of like extreme growth took a lot of hands-on work, but now I have like some upper management that I really trust and that puts out good quality stuff and helps take care of a lot of like managerial stuff I used to do. So like now I'm kind of getting back into being more of a exclusively a creative director and less of like a manager of people, which is exciting.
I guess you could go both ways, right? You could hire more people to help you craft or more people to help you manage your business, and then you can do what you want to do if you're
For
in that
sure.
situation. It sounds like you are, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah, like we got production down to a science and everything turns out beautiful back there. We do really good quality. So now I'm building out like my front of house, like design team and yeah, just trying to be, yeah, most of my days more in a creative space than a logistical space, which it hasn't been for a couple of years. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
And now you're, because of all these collabs and stuff and your business is growing, you're able to do this stuff. You can be really creative. Like you mentioned, guitars, ping pong paddles. Like what else could you, there's a ton of stuff made out of wood. Like what else could you
Oh,
make?
for sure.
Bar
Well,
stools,
I'm
tables.
going to Japan next year to study with a katana maker and making custom katana handles and sheaths and doing a line of katanas. Yeah, I mean,
That's
like,
insane.
yeah,
What?
it's fun, man. Yeah, and going to Japan as a tax write-off because I'm doing it for business. Like, it's a fun world to be in right now, dude.